force area or this plateau up here. Not many people expand here for that reason alone. Most people will go to the edges of the map. Also, there's always tons of units marching up and down this center walkway here, and very easy for them to spot one of these expansions and take them out on their march. Not a whole lot of people are going to be marching around these ring expansions unless they are legitimately looking for enemy expansions to take out. You can see observers also coming up from the blue Protoss player looking for expansions, just keeping an eye on these their enemies, making sure they're not doing something they don't want them to do, just gathering intelligence, seeing what they're building, and building, or at least they should build, appropriate counters to whatever happens to be going on. Looks like we've got Immortals coming out from the blue Protoss player, and Immortals are great, what I call tank buster units, because they do plus 33 damage to armored units. And if you click on a unit, you can see down here whether they're armored. Stalkers are armored units, Zealots are light units. So any unit that says armored right here, these Immortals are going to do plus 33 damage to them, and most units in the game are armored units. So good units to have, except they cannot attack air units. If you're going to see a force of siege tanks or marauders or something, these Immortals are going to chew them up. Also, they have a hardened shield, which reduces the amount of damage to their shield by 10. So heavily armored units, good support units, and not the kind of unit I would rely in my main force. But we can also see mass forward rays from the red Protoss player, and they're going to move in to try and take out this base. You can see Archons coming out by Jordrock, not great units, I think, and also a huge siege tank wall by the Terran player. Also, cloaked Banshees are going to start going to work. These siege tanks and these Banshees are going to start doing tons of damage to this ground force. Jordrock has plenty of Stalkers out on the field, going to tear up those Void Rays that are attacking him. However, these Void Rays are going to be too much for these Vikings, and they're going to be able to get into the base. However, these siege tanks are just tearing up this ground force, just doing ton of damage. Jordrock blinks his Stalkers into a position where they can start to take out those Void Rays. These Void Rays are just about to go down. Last one on the field, and it goes down. However, they were able to take out the siege tanks, and this ground force is still here, still wreaking havoc, and able to tear up those Stalkers. More Stalkers being warped in by Jordrock, and these Immortals are still in the field, still doing damage. However, these Banshees are going to be able to rain down fire on them and end this very decisive battle in what looked like was going to be a bad outcome for Teal and Purple. However, it was turned around and they were able to defend their base. But however, both sides lost a lot of units in that, but we can see that the red Protoss is still pumping out plenty of units to defend them. Also, these guys are not going to give up. You can see that Myastam has put up a planetary fortress to defend his expansion. However, not going to be enough, to really deal with these Stalkers. However, Jordrock is going to bring in some of his own Stalkers, and we're going to have a huge Stalker-on-Stalker warfare battle kind of here. But those Stalkers are able to take down that planetary fortress. Big gain for them. Despite the fact that they lost all their units, they were still able to take out that expansion, put a lot of effort in defending that expansion, put up a fortress there, and all those gains were for naught. You can also see that Endable has finally expanded out of his base, taken that rich resource. Jordrock uses an observer and sees that Danny is going to try to expand as well. Not going to happen. Not going to let that happen. And unfortunately, he is stuck in his base with an ever-diminishing amount of resources to continue to fuel his war machine with. Looks like we can see more mass void rays. Those void rays are just... He was just unfazed by the fact that he had lost all of them in the previous battle. And he's just going to continue to pump out more and see if they can overwhelm these guys finally. Also, interesting move. Looks like Jordrock is going to go to air. Going to abandon his stalker force. Also has a Colossi out with another one just finished. But looks like with such a heavy amount of Stargates, looks like he's definitely going to push out some new air units. Also in the center here, we can see that these stalkers are destroying probes that might try and expand. Not going to let the enemies gain that strategic economic advantage. And again, we are in a period of, we're in a lull period. Nothing really going on. Again, both sides really punched out after that previous battle, coming in to recuperate, rebuild, and get ready for the next inevitable conflict. We can also see that almost all the sides have upgraded at least once. Jordrock has 3 upgrades on his stalkers. Gonna be able to do a ton of damage with those. Also a fleet beacon going up by Jordrock. Looks like we're gonna see some carriers actually coming out from this Protoss player when the time is right. And we can see more and more starports from the Terran player, massed Banshees, which are good as long as there doesn't happen to be a ground force waiting to take them out. Also, Jordrock sees this high yield expansion is going to bring a large force of stalkers to threaten it, maybe eliminate it. And we'll see in the coming battle. Also, Colossus, which I believe, let's just check their range. I believe outrange. Yes, they do. They outrange these photon cannons. So they're going to be able to destroy these photon cannons from a safe distance. And therefore taking out this, lightly defended base with almost zero to very little losses. We can also see Vikings going out by Terran player, also controlling their expansions. And from a safe distance, these Colossi just tear up these photon cannons, and there's nothing that Endo can really do right now. Here comes this Viking fleet, gonna try and land and do some damage with their airplanes, and start trying to tear up these probes and photon cannons. But here come, he's got a huge amount of void rays that he's just kind of letting them all sit there, not really doing anything. And here they come, finally getting into gear when all his probes and cannons are dead, and gonna take out this air force. But still, they did their job. They took out all the probes, all the cannons, and have left him right now with 0. Let's look at the income. He's not. Right now, Endable is not collecting any resources at all at this point in the game. With both, with my Ham taking the center position on both mineral fields. Also, we can see a huge battle forming up here. However, these void rays are just going to be too much for these stalkers, and they're going to focus their fire and take them all out. And also, these Colossi are going to go down as well under mass void ray fire.